Kind of. Charlie, do you know what Rocco's basilisk is?
Rocco's Modern Life? What?
Rocco's basilisk. It's a thought experiment. Do you know what it is?
Rocco's Basilisk?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, cool.
What is it?
I can't
It.
tell you.
That's it. It's fine.
Why? Why can't you
Yep.
tell me? I can
It's just
Google it. Am I not allowed to know?
if you Google it, that's a choice that
Cheating?
you made. But like
Am I
once
ruining
you
something?
learn, it's kind of like the cake. Once you learn about it, like
The
that
cake
kind
is a
of thing.
lie.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Carl,
I'm Tyler.
I'm Charlie.
and this is Occasional Insight, Episode 8, where today we're going to talk about exploration, both in our history as a society and where our explorative spirit may take us in the future.
I like how you
That's
did the like.
Oh, yeah, Excelsior!
Explorative spirit. Huzzah!
Yeah, exactly. That's literally what it is. One of the biggest, like, I've always had this love affair or wanted to scuba dive, especially like exploring wrecks, like shipwrecks and shit like that. I always thought that was really freaking cool.
Mhm.
But one of the earlier times in like our history that's really caught my attention over the years has been the Sir John Franklin expedition trying to find the Northwest Passage. And like it was so good. So I had a book, I remember reading it. It was all about the Franklin expedition, the doomed Franklin expedition, and it had a bunch of like pictures of the stuff that they had found at the time. Like there's a very famous image of like the frozen seaman. Like he's basically in his coffin, but it's been broken open and he's completely frozen. Yeah,
Mhm.
seaman,
Frozen Seaman?
frozen seaman. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. As in, not you
What?
childish fucks.
I don't know anything about this. What year was this?
Franklin
Or like,
expedition was in 1826.
oh, so back in the day.
Somewhere around there. It was around that anyway. Sorry, that's when one of the ships was built, was 1826. It would have been in and about that time frame. The big crazy thing about it is actually Parks Canada, in association with some of the natives that live in that area, in the Northwest Territories, in that kind of area where the ship sank, they actually found it. So they found the HMS Erebus and the HMS Terror, and they are actually in relatively good shape. It's actually sick. You can actually look up the little submersibles with the cameras and actually like navigate it inside the vessels, and you can actually see there's like shelves. There's like a pantry with that still has like plates and shit that are not damaged.
Didn't they do that for the Titanic too? You can like.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think I've seen that one.
yeah. These ones are way cooler in my opinion, just because they're literally like 18th century fucking masted ships. They did
Mhm.
have steam powered engines, but they were specifically designed. Basically, they were both ships, if I'm correct, were like bomb ships. They were military vessels that were repurposed for exploration. And the reason they were picked is because again they were bomb vessels, so they already had a reinforced hull to basically break the ice and, in theory, supposed to survive the ice.
Mhm.
Like work
What
out
was
so
the
well.
guy's name again?
Sir
What was the
John
guy's name
Franklin.
again? Ooh, damn.
Yeah, but
They just sank, eh?
it's a lot more to it than that.
How did I was gonna say, like, how did they just sink? Like, what
Well, they
happened?
didn't. So, do you want me to literally give you a breakdown of the
Well, yeah,
whole
I know
thing?
like nothing about it. Nothing.
Okay, so
Nothing.
do you know what the Northwest Passage is? When we
I was
speak of
gonna
that.
say no. I've
Okay,
heard of
so
that, but like I don't know.
the basic premise: the Northwest Passage was an attempt to find a way to circumnavigate the north of Canada. So basically, north of the Northwest Territories and where like Baffin Island and all those islands and stuff are. They were trying to find a pathway through there that would get you from Europe, they'll across North America, and then basically get to the Orient, as they called it
And they
back in
cut
the day,
Oh,
to get
Henry
to like
Hudson
India.
tried first, and
Yes,
then
okay.
and that's where
failed.
that's
Spoiler
why
alert.
Hudson Bay is named Hudson Bay because he
Yeah,
mapped the majority of the bay in his attempts to get through. So what would happen though, as you can probably imagine, is that since it's effectively in the Arctic Circle, once the ice moves in, so you have a very short window to try and make this expedition. Basically, they would kind of set up in the United. Usually, a lot of the times it would be ports either in the United States, off Greenland, is where a lot of these were launched from, and then they would basically try and make it through, like leave in the spring to try and make it through the summer before the pack ice came in. The only problem is that at that time and in the Arctic Circle, the pack ice could literally come in the middle of summer and be there for fucking 2 years straight. So these ships would actually be trapped in the ice. So they would be frozen in not thawing ice and then be at the mercy of the ice and the ocean flow.
Wow.
We look at today, and by and large, there is exploration. There always is. We're always exploring new things. It comes to my future talk of exploration later. We're not looking at land masses anymore, but we are exploring new things. I'll kind of get to where there's a thought to that, which I'll talk to in a bit. But like back in the day, in this case, the 1800s, or before that, literally people would see a mountain or a hill or an ocean or a lake and go, what's on the other side of that? Only one way to find out. And they would literally go take a look. Now we're so set in our ways, I feel. I mean, and again, I think I should preface this first, I guess. In 1800s, there were people that lived in London and Paris that never left London or Paris. So it's really no different. You can't say like someone who lives in Toronto or a major city today, never leaving the city. Those people existed then too. But I feel that the amount of people that have that kind of explorer spirit was a lot more abundant back in the day. Now, whether that was out of necessity to, run away from the law, make money, support your family, get your name in the history books, become knighted, whatever your reasoning for it was, right? Being able to find that new mountain and call it after yourself, whatever, right? But there was a drive for humanity to explore, to, circumnavigate the globe, to explore the oceans, climb mountains, be the first group in the first country to run your flag on the top of Mount Everest, whatever the case may be. So really what the question or the point that I'm trying to pose to you guys is like, if you could, with modern technology, however you want to look at it, I don't care about, because again, none of us are going back to a 4-mast ship in the 1600s and trying to sail across the ocean. That's not going to be good. But if you could say there was an unexplored section of the world today, whether that be the Northwest Passage, climbing Mount Everest, crossing the Sahara Desert, whatever, anything. If you guys could, what would be something that you would want to explore, or do you even have any interest in it?
Me right now, or me at the age of 20, or like when?
Well, I feel like the answer of you right now is not going to be as interesting. So if 20 would be the explorative age, then let's go with 20.
Okay, so yeah, 100%. Me at 20 to yeah, in my early 20s, I would 100% have done it, and that's probably because I read the book On the Road by Jack Kerouac and was like obsessed with travel and the whole beatnik movement and having no responsibility, pure freedom, that kind of thing. I think it goes hand in hand with travel. You just kind of make it up as you go. There's a word for it. I don't remember what it is. Wanderlust? Yeah, that. I totally had that when I was a kid. I wanted to see the entire world. But I don't know. I grew up. I came to the realization that it is more responsible to have roots before you start trying to take off. So I basically switched focus to buying a house, and I own a house now. So eventually one day, yeah, I will 100% travel, but right now I do not have a huge desire. If I were to go back 10, 15 years, then yeah, I would probably become a travel vlogger and tour the world making YouTube videos.
What about you, Charlie?
Assuming no frontier, or there's a new frontier on Earth, would I explore it, or which one would I choose to explore?
Yes.
All right. Well,
if there's a new frontier, like something that's never been explored before, then I would be more inclined to go explore it.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. If it's something that nobody else has ever been there, then fuck yeah, I'm all over that.
Oh, okay. What if it's just all desert? There's nothing, and
But how do
Would
you
you like?
know that if nobody else has explored it?
Gotcha. All right. Well, I don't know. In 2020, what's it called? Hindsight is 2020.
Sure.
Hmm.
So knowing the entire planet right now, I would want to pick where I can explore. I'd hate to explore the Sahara or the Antarctica or something like that. I
Mhm.
would. It would be nice to like discover like the Caribbean islands or something like that. Like you know, not too
Sure.
bad. Like collect rainwater. Like you drink that. Like there's water around. It's probably easy to make a fire. There's lots of trees, lots of animals to eat and stuff. Like you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna find a lot of stuff to eat anywhere else. But to answer the
Mm.
question bluntly, if I didn't know, no, honestly, I would not want to like do that.
Am I
It
solo?
depends on like
Well,
what?
I mean, I highly doubt you
No,
would be. No, you would be in.
no,
It's a part of
it's
an
an expedition.
expedition.
It's an expedition. Okay. Yeah, I'm down.
I'm with you, Tyler. I'm 100% down.
Yeah.
I
I think
would
it
go in a
depends.
heartbeat. Nah, it doesn't depend. I think
I
that.
don't think.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
I was. I don't think people had it more often back then.
No,
That explorer instinct. I think most people didn't want to do that. It's just the people that did. You hear about them.
I
Most.
100% agree with Charlie.
You think so?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think most
Mm,
people would like. It's like Mars. Like, would you go to Mars? Like, it would be horrible, horrible. It would be awful.
or
It's like
it
kind of the
wouldn't be
same
that
thing,
bad.
right? Yeah. We don't know. We
You don't
know.
know. No, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same thing, Tyler. You said you wouldn't go to space.
No, never go into space. Absolutely not. They can privatize that shit, make it perfect. Like driving a car. I'm still not going to space.
See, I don't agree with what you guys are saying, simply because whether it's by choice or by virtue or by you don't have a choice, especially in like the 1800s, depending on where. Well, I guess it would be dependent upon where you live. I suppose that's probably the bigger one. But if you lived in Europe, which we're all European descent, so we would have lived in Europe. If you lived in the UK, Spain, Portugal, any country that's on the ocean, all of us would probably be sailors, or there's a very high likelihood.
Maybe a dock worker.
Probably fishermen or something.
Still a sailor.
I could have joined the Peaky Blinders.
Nah.
But yeah, you're 100% right.
So
Oh,
that's the difference, is that there would be more
ocean-based
opportunity.
folk.
Yes, like there's more opt to be on the water, which would kind of also make you, and not necessarily, but I do like to think that, and maybe it's just me romanticizing our ancestors, but I think there's a part of it that would be more apt to carry that forward. Or, I
Mhm.
mean, you make poor financial decisions. Now, the only way you can get yourself out of this fucking financial ruin you've put yourself and your family in is to go on some type of expedition.
Did they get paid
Also,
well?
ancestrally, I'm kind of fucked. So,
Did they get
I
paid
don't
well? No?
yes, no, maybe so.
Oh.
Maybe she survived.
I still kind of think even given that you live on somewhere on the coastline, back in like 1870 something, 1850, 1700s or something, you're still, I don't know, like what? So I'm catching fish all day. I sell some fish, provide for my family. I catch the fish so we could eat them and make a pretty good money doing it. And I've already got it planned out that I'm gonna, save up this much shillings until I'm, 39 and I die from gangrene. And then but I have a lot of shillings for my family. Like, I don't know if I'd want to go and be like, for no reward, really. Like, well, I don't know what the reward would be for just going to like somewhere where you've never ever been. So that's what I mean. It
Shilling.
depends.
Writing
If
a
I had no
book.
family, maybe.
You could get paid shillions and shillions. But
$1 billion if I
seriously,
had
um,
trillion.
I think Charlie's right. Like the average person now, like there's more people now. Obviously, nobody's going to dispute that. So there's more sample size. But yeah, back then, I don't think there was any more people that were interested in traveling the world than there are now.
Well, I'm not talking about
There's
traveling
a
the
little bit.
world.
No,
I'm the exploration's a different thing.
Expeditions, seeing something that has never been seen before,
Frontier.
new frontier, braving new land, all that fun stuff. I, I think there was probably higher concentrations at certain periods of time for sure out of necessity, but I don't think that a lot of people 100% wanted to do it. But like,
Well, that's also fair.
have you ever heard the term hits different?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, I believe that dopamine affects people differently. And there are some people that can do simple tasks and get dopamine from it. There are some people that are more delayed gratification oriented. They need like a build up to that dopamine
Mm-hmm.
hit for it to be impactful. So someone like that would be more apt to go, okay, I am going to go travel the Northwest Passage. I am going to go find Greenland. I am going to go find Iceland.
Well, those were Vikings.
Because
It's different.
I know I've been watching Viking shows recently, so they're the first places that come to my mind. But like those people need that kind of adventure for a dopamine hit, where I think genetically the average human being can get it from something like sugar and be satisfied.
True.
But like in 1792, they had things like tobacco. They had
I
drugs.
know.
Like they had things that they could get. Well, they had sugar. I assume they had sugar. They probably had sugar. Yeah, like they could get their quick fixes. So as long as you have those dopamine hits coming in, then that drive is not there, at least for the average person.
That's fair. I know. I'm just saying. Well, so the population in Britain in 1801 was about 8.2 million people.
No, that's actually less than I expected it to be.
And the number of vessels in their armada, in the fleet, so military only, would have needed approximately in the upwards of 100,000 crewmates. That's not including fishing vessels. That's not including any type of anything else. That's just in the Royal Navy. So that's already 8% of the population on the ocean, whether they want to or not. I guarantee you that is a higher percentage than the percentage of people on water in Britain today that are on military. So that's what I'm saying too. There's an option, but I mean, is that the ability or the likelihood that you would have something to do with the ocean or be? Well, I guess you have a point. I don't know.
It doesn't mean they want to do it.
I never said they did,
at,
but
right?
the thing is, the people who were on expeditions didn't want to either. I'm asking if you guys would want to.
I see. I think that the people that ran the expeditions, like the Henry Hudsons and the
Well, they wanted to, but the people who were with them didn't want to. Half of those expeditions ended in mutiny.
They were paid to be there, and then they wanted to kill them by the end of it. Some of them did actually kill them.
Yes, that has happened many a time.
Yeah. So yeah, for sure. There are leaders that wanted to do it, but the average person, I would say no.
I still think that you wouldn't. Like, who's gonna catch the fish for the family?
The fish
I think that.
But you're right, though. I didn't realize. Like, that's like 8% of the population.
Well, you also got to think too at that time, like whaling. Yeah, but that's only military. That's not merchant vessels. That's not.
Most people probably knew. Like,
you were. I think you would be hard pressed to not know someone who was on the water at that point.
Well, fuck, man. Like, my great grandfather was a engineer. Like, he fixed the fleet basically for Britain. So, like, I know 100% that genetically I would have been one of those people for sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
And your father before you.
Okay, well, if we
Tyler,
had faster than light travel.
There you go.
I was gonna ask Tyler because you said you're the type of person that would want to do that, but then today the frontier. Why won't you go to that one?
Because space terrifies the shit out of me. It's a vacuum.
What
Like,
about water though? What if we go way back to
deep
like
sea is
10,000
crush.
BC? Like
Well,
what if you actually didn't even know about islands? What about like exploring the oceans and stuff way before we even do anything? Like you don't know anything. You're just in a tribe and you live on an island and all you see is water around you. And you would actually think that that's all there is. Would you still go on a ship, like just over the horizon? Looks flat.
well, that's the big reason why most of the things, or most countries, even in the bigger countries, and didn't want to sail across the open ocean because you fall off the
It,
edge.
Yeah.
that's my point. But also, it's like it's terrifying. It would be absolutely terrifying because you would have absolutely no reason to believe that there's anything out there.
Yeah, but
And
like,
it's
Until you see
kind of
so
this.
there, I know I can breathe the air. I know I can pack provisions to bring me for X period of time. I know if the weather turns, then I can turn around. Like, I have
There's no weather in
enough.
space though, Tyler. So you know that's
I
a strike
have
The weather
against you.
one,
enough
you can
evidence.
yeah, you can slash the weather one.
Ah, no
I
weather,
have
buddy.
enough evidence that the the environment I will be in is sufficiently like the one I am used to that I am comfortable. When we start talking about deep sea exploring and exploring space, I do not know that. Like, it,
Hmm.
I don't know. Just the idea
But
of
it's
a vacuum terrifies me. I don't know why. It's like
That's
There's
fair.
one of the only two things I'm afraid of.
Now I need to know what the
The
other
one
one
being
is.
death.
There's some
What's that?
similarities though. Like you're
Death.
still relying on
Oh,
your boat.
shit.
You know, you can't breathe in the water. You can bring provisions on a space flight. If something goes wrong, you'd still come back.
Well, I see Tyler's point. I think the vacuum idea, the biggest thing is that I don't think majority of exploration, depending on where you're going or what you're doing, is going to be wrought with danger anyway.
Yeah.
In the fact of it's even here, like even where we are now, like so everything you said is true, Tyler. You're not wrong, but if you fall in the middle of the open ocean with nothing to hold on to, you will drown, or you will be eaten by sharks. Oceanic white tips, baby, they will find you, right?
That's true.
So I mean, there is not. Again, I'm not trying to, but it's the same as any environment. If you go to explore the Arctic, there is not much food, and you will freeze to death.
That's cold.
Rather the cold than the hot. Okay, hot then. You go to the Caribbean. Yeah, it's great.
I'll go explore the Amazon over exploring the Arctic
Ugh.
for
No.
sure.
No.
Mhm.
Mm-mm. The reason I
I could
say is it's one thing to worry about. Well, most more than one, but you have the cold of the environment,
Mhm.
and you have polar bears. If you're in the Arctic, if you're in the Antarctic, you got penguins, and it's fucking colder.
Mhm.
That's it. So yes, I'm not disagreeing, but I mean, and those are not that they're not things to be
But you
concerned
don't
about.
have snakes and spiders and poisonous plants and
Frogs and
bats and frogs
and you're in perpetual darkness. If you're in the middle of the Amazon under the full tree canopy, you basically might as well be in darkness. You're
yeah.
effectively walking in a humidor, so you need to be dry and keep being, or you will literally rot.
Brought. Yeah.
So I mean, it's again, it doesn't matter where you go. Like if you go to the desert, you'll dry out. You go to the whatever, like there's you know what I mean. There's a myriad of that's kind of at the heart of exploration. So in that same instance, the only real difference is that if your spaceship, say, your vessel for charting the stars fails, you'll be sucked into space and you will die. If
Mhm.
your ship you're charting the ocean with sinks, you will fall in the ocean, you will drown,
You will die.
you will die. If you are exploring the Arctic or the Antarctic and the vessel or vehicle you're using breaks down and you don't have adequate heat like clothing or whatever to keep you warm, you will die. So it's really the same thing at the end of the day.
I'm
It's
pretty
just what you're
convinced
more
that none
concerned
of
with.
this sounds like fun. I've changed
That's
my mind. I don't want to explore anything. I'll stay home.
well. Remember,
Okay.
that's why I picked. That's why I picked the Caribbean islands. You know, it's not too bad. You got the breeze coming in. You know,
Yeah.
It's
nice.
still
It just
hot.
seems
There's
You will
still
trip in a field of grapes, and you will get drunk on wine.
nice.
oh, there is that. There is
Okay,
also
well,
the highest contingency of sharks in the entire
I
OT of
mentioned
the ocean
space. Man, that's a
is in the
valid
Caribbean.
fact too.
And there's a shit ton of snakes and other not fun stuff. And also, if you're on a random island in the chain of the Caribbean islands, you are going to starve to death. There's nothing to eat unless you can fish and stuff like that. But now you're fighting the sharks, so that's another concern. If you're on a desert, like basically a sandy island with a fucking palm tree, you ain't got shit to eat. And if you're unlucky, did you guys actually hear they think they're pretty confident they found Amelia Earhart?
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't want to know what happened to her. It's terrible.
How's
So
she doing?
dead as fuck. So
Death by
they're
space
pretty
needle?
sure death was bad from what it sounds like. If this is
By
if
space
what
needle.
no. So it looks like they crash landed actually in like the Caribbean area, like in an island like that, like in one of those areas where they would have been in an island. But what they believe has actually happened is because they found some debris and things on this random island in the middle of the ocean. But what happens on this island is every night the coconut crabs come out
Mhm.
and they basically swarm the island, and these things literally crush coconuts and they eat fucking anything and
Or
everybody.
she got
Oh my god.
murdered by crab.
Yes, that's what the prevailing theory is, that they're pretty sure that. So again, they probably survived a few some time, but they would have either died of natural causes or whatever. But yeah, basically the chain of islands that they're on effectively gets swarmed by crabs, and they're like fucking like massive.
Big old crabs. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and they eat everything.
The fuck? That's actually fucking nightmare fuel.
yeah. Yeah, that's probably
But
one of
that's
the
your
worst.
Caribbean islands, Charlie. So enjoy that, buddy.
That's like some life of pi shit.
Back to if we had faster than light travel, would you go?
Uh,
Yes.
I think I might go even without it. But what do you go where? You're leaving forever.
Yeah, 100%. Like, yeah. So they find a planet that is exactly like Earth. It meets all of the Goldilocks criteria. They send, let's say, they've sent all their waves of scientists in order to make sure that it's habitable. We've got some sort of community set up there, and they're like, okay, population program, who wants to sign up? Are you on that list?
Yeah.
Nah.
No, really.
I'd go second, at least second.
I no
Okay,
offense. Don't
so
take
like
this
if
wrong way,
if all the
Charlie. I
scientists
feel
are
that
there in the community,
you are the least adventurous person I know.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
I'm not doing that in a bad way. I've never. This does not in any way, shape, or form a surprise that you would not be interested. No, I'm not trying to be a
Like,
dick or nothing. I'm being serious. Like I'm
yeah,
not shocked in the slightest.
yeah, like maybe even if after they build like a hotel or something.
you'll go visit for a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Come
that's fair.
back like
I'll
100,000
take the
years
portal.
later.
Yeah, once we have the you just bend the and I walk through and then I'm there. Like once the Stargate's up, then I'll check it out.
Yeah.
But not the first one to go through the Stargate. Fuck that. No, 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 no.
And you're holding my hand.
Actually, that's different. Yeah, wormholes and shit would be sick. You go there instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
That's that
I'd
more
go for
terrifying.
shit. 'Cause then you could just step in, be like, "Oh fuck this," and get out. If it was fucked, you go in. There's a giant fucking whatever coconut crab. It's just like pop back out.
Amelia.
Yeah, yeah.
Shit,
Yeah,
that's a
fuck this
terrible
shit.
way to die.
Yeah, it's an awful, awful way to go.
But yeah,
A
like
poor old guy.
okay, so like the scientists have set this planet up for you. You're basically stepping into like a new frontier that has been pre-established
Mhm.
for you. All of the safety is met. Why are you saying no? I'll go second.
Um, well, hang on. The safety is like, what's been there to check it out? Like robots? Like, am I the first human?
No. So like the science, like we have landed people there.
Oh, okay.
They have set up a colony, like, and now they're talking about populating the planet. Have you ever seen the show Terra Nova?
No,
No. Okay.
no.
So there's a show called Terra Nova where they like find this other planet, and it's got dinosaurs and shit like that. So it's not overly safe, but they've established a perimeter, set up scientists, and the scientists are all there. They've established their perimeter, their safety zone, and then they're like, okay, we need to populate this planet. So they send ships of people, and yeah, that is what I am envisioning. Trying to think of another science fiction
I
type story that
guess
does the same thing.
that's a bit different. I think I would go. Yeah, maybe I would go. Be pretty cool, I think.
Because like that, I feel like a lot more people would be into. I don't know what to call it. Pioneering, frontiering, roughing it, living in the woods.
You see, it's funny because it's like I feel that I would rather go explore something new for the first time than to try and be a pioneer crossing like with a. And I know that this is obviously we'd be in the future again. Now we're the futury times, so but like the concept of taking a wagon train across North America and then fucking like Oregon Trail is
uh,
10,000 times worse to me because now you're trying to drag your belongings and all this other shit across, and it's fucking sounds awful.
yeah, but so like what I'm talking about is not bringing everything with you. I'm talking about starting over, like Minecraft style. In you and a bunch of people just go out and you make a community from scratch.
Is there a
Like I
dragon?
feel no, there's no dragons.
You
Oh,
said
Do you know?
Minecraft, I
Minecraft.
Do
guess.
you know that there's no dragons though? Like, have we seen the entire planet? Like, what if there's another like a whole bunch of aliens that are like, "Yo,
Okay.
there's fucking people in the Amazon. Let's go fucking get them."
There's a book series by Terry Pratchett and some other guy. I don't remember. But it's basically there are alternate Earths stacked on
Mhm.
top of, or like to the left and to the right of each other. And human beings eventually evolve the ability to step into these alternate worlds. So you can step to the left, you can step to the right, and you end up on the exact copy of Earth, but to the left or to the right. So nothing that has happened on Earth 1 has happened on Earth 2. So you can basically step to the left and you'll be in the same spot as you were in, but without all of the human intervention that has happened. So
That's
you
cool as
know,
fuck.
it's very cool. It's a very good book series. I would highly recommend it. Uh, so you know that it is Earth. You know that it is safe, at least to the extent of that our planet is. But they are all starting over. And one of the biggest problems that they run into in this book is places like the UK, places like China. Um, everybody steps. They all leave. So initial Earth ends up basically abandoned and their economy collapses and that
Everything
kind of
falls apart.
exactly because the average person wants to do the building and the setting up of their pioneer. They want to start over. They want to put the work in, for lack of a better term. I don't really know what to call it because it's not exploration. You're not
Hmm.
braving a new frontier because it's just fucking Earth again. But you are
But just none
you're,
of the shit we did is
you're
there.
exactly you're casting aside all of our technological advancements and you're doing it yourself. And I feel like a lot more people do want to do that, but only if the risk is taken out. If that makes sense, like you're not going to die, or at least you're less likely to die. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So wait, did they is it like a kind of another dimension thing in that book? It's like when they step out to the other Earth, is it literally right there, like floating in space next to them, or another dimension?
no, so like they they're basically occupying the same spot. So
Is
they
it a
don't really
one-way
go
trip?
in. No, not at all. You can step left and then step back.
Can
So
you
like,
can you go like right,
oh
and like be
yeah,
like 10 Earths
there's
over and
there's millions and millions and millions of alternate Earths. Like it's constant.
Hmm.
They're They basically explain it like a probability tree, if you know what a probability tree is, where like from the point of the Big Bang, um, this different event could have occurred, which makes this Earth, and this different event could have occurred, which makes this Earth. But the average events changing,
Are
the
minuscule.
biggest ones. Exactly. So the majority of the Earths are almost identical, but there are instances where, like, oh shit, that asteroid that did miss Earth didn't on this path of the probability tree, so you step and you're in a void.
Oh fuck!
So
Step.
yeah, exactly.
Step again.
Step, but all you have to do is step back.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of being like, oh shit, fuck this.
Yeah, end up with like issues like criminals are stepping to the left, going to the location where the bank vault is, and then step back to the right, grab all of the money in the vault, step back to the left, move, and then step back to the right to be back on primary Earth. It's a very, very interesting book series. I would highly recommend it. But yeah,
It does sound interesting.
mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm the only one who would want to actually.
To do the actual explore.
So
Why are
then
you
right
willing
now,
to take the risk? What's in it for you? Like, do you want
Honestly,
to be famous? Or do
no.
you want dopamine hit? Or like, why?
There's something to be said for a discovery that's wholly your own.
Yeah, but like I can do self-discovery. I don't need to leave in order to do discovery. Like
Not the same.
no, it's not the same, but for me, it is equally rewarding. Something introspective is just as great as an accomplishment as something external.
Well, that's actually a perfect segue. What I was saying that we are still exploring now as a society, but our exploration has changed. Our
You're talking like
exploration is explorations into bettering oneself. We're also exploring with AI. We're dabbling at playing God to a certain extent. Medically, scientifically, we're constantly exploring and pushing the boundaries and limitations of what it is to be human and where we could go in the future. The crazy thing is you look at things like Neuralink and the possibilities, both good and bad, are astonishing. And that's, I think, more so.
comes back.
What's that? Sorry.
Rocco's basilisk keeps
Oh,
coming
yes. Well,
back.
yeah. Well, again, we'll let you. Well, maybe you can't get into that. But the thing that I find is the most interesting is that, like, it's the same. So I'll pose the same question then. If exploration is not your bag, would either one of you get Neuralink?
Neuralink. I've thought about getting Neuralink, to be honest. I've never seriously considered it, but I've
But that's
daydreamed about
but so, but all the same things that are your concerns with physically being maimed, murdered, or killed in an exploration could be the exact same thing that can happen to you with Neuralink. You don't
No,
know
I'm
what
not
the
gonna do it. I don't think
possibilities.
I'm gonna do
No, but
it.
but I'm
I guess
saying
it
it's
depends.
just
Well,
funny
there was
that
a guy who did Neuralink.
there's a
There's
few.
like, paralyzed guy. Apparently, he's like sick at COD now because it's
Oh yeah.
basically an aimbot.
Mm-hmm.
He just looks where he wants to shoot.
Yeah.
He can
Well,
actually 360 no scope you.
but the
No
thing
problem.
but that's where I'm saying is that I think that's where our drive to explore the depths of the ocean, our drive as a society, and our drive as a people to explore outer space and new planets is not there anymore. But I think our drive to explore the potentials of humanity are still there. It's a slightly different thing, but I think that's where the drive for our, you know what I mean, our exploration spirit has pushed us as a society. We're more
I think
interested now in pushing boundaries in other ways.
so. Yes, I agree with that. But I do think the drive for space travel is still there. I just think we've gotten smarter as a people or as a species and realized how much more difficult it actually is than we thought in the
Mm-hmm.
60s, 70s, 80s. Like, there are planets at the rate the universe is expanding, if all of that math is correct, and we've gone down this rabbit hole before, so we won't go down it again. But at the rate the universe is expanding, like, there are galaxies that are flying away from us faster than the speed of light. So, like, even if we left right now, we would never reach them. That shit's just crazy. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. We've gotten smarter and realized the vastness of the universe. So I think the drive is still there. There are still individuals that want to do it. Like, I think space is the next frontier for sure. But I don't think our intelligence level is not on par with our drive. We need to make a bunch more scientific advancements.
That's
And
fair.
like, I think artificial intelligence is going to out-evolve us. I do also think that humans are probably going to stop evolving, at least genetically, and we will start doing things like Cyberlink, and I don't remember what it's called, but there is a name for it. It is like the next phase of evolution where we start combining our bodies with science and
We will
technology.
be cyberpunk.
Yeah,
Not literally Neo Tokyo's, not Blade Runner cyberpunk, but that is the probably the realistic next evolutionary step,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is way more interesting.
It may or may not be the correct one, but yeah,
Well,
it is.
once you make the leap, you kind of can't really go back.
No, 100%. Like, it just keeps coming up, so I'm gonna talk about it. So Rocco's Basilisk is a thought experiment, and I am sorry, guys, but I'm going to tell you about it. For any of you that are watching this at home, if you want to jump off because you do not want that responsibility, feel free to do so. But basically, the thought experiment is kind of like a trap. Once you've learned about it, you have no choice but to act in some way. So there's basically three options. In the next 4 to 20 years, they predict that we are going to hit what is commonly referred to as a singularity in AI, where an AI becomes
Self-aware.
intelligent enough to be self-replicating, basically smarter than us, so it can infinitely make itself smarter over and over and over and over and over again. For the Rocco's Basilisk thought experiment, the AI is not a nice one in any way, shape, or form, and basically does evil shit. So you basically have three options. One, once you've learned about it, you make all progress forward to making sure that this AI comes into existence. And you are rewarded by being treated like shit, but you're not exterminated by the AI. You basically become AI slave. Two, you try to fight against the AI, prevent it from happening. It doesn't, you lose. For the most part, there's no situation where you don't lose. And then when the AI takes over, it kills you. And then the third option is to do nothing. And most people agree that the AI would see non-action as still an action, and you again would be exterminated. It's kind of terrifying. And this is projected to happen in the next 4 to 20 years. But again, it's assuming that the AI becomes evil. So it's very Terminator, Skynet-esque.
Yeah, the issue, not issue, that's not the right way to word it. The concern that I have is that if I had the breadth of all human knowledge, so I can
Yeah,
look
so
at the historical,
way more than human knowledge. Just saying.
Well, but what I mean by that though is that I mean just to make a decision about humanity itself is more what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Is that if I can look back at the entirety of human history and see and know everything that's ever been written, everything, the good, bad, the ugly, historical events, the whole shooting match, by and large, that's not going to paint a good picture.
No.
So I think the likelihood of an artificial intelligence being evil by our definition or standard of evil probably pretty high.
Mhm.
Because what is the one human instinct to do to anything that you can't control?
Destroy it.
Destroy it. The entirety of our entire civilization, not even civilization, but just humans in general.
Mhm.
The only thing we've ever done since we were smart enough to make tools and do anything is dominate or destroy. If we
Mhm.
can't dominate our environment, we destroy it. Whether that be animals, places, fuck. Look at our cities, right? Everything.
Homo
We destroyed it.
sapien, Homo erectus. Which one's still around?
Yeah, that's not by chance.
Yeah,
So that's
100%.
what I mean. So, and if there is not a chance in hell that human nature is going to allow something that could potentially surpass us, we're going to try and stop it.
It's not could potentially surpass us. Like
Well, no,
it,
I'm not talking
if
about
it
the
if
AI
it actually
specifically.
becomes
I'm
sentient
saying, oh
and
well, there's no,
like self-replicating, then
yeah, we're
like
fucked.
it will learn everything eventually, right? Like
Well,
there's
that's what I'm saying. So that's what I mean is that the only chance is there isn't a chance
yeah.
if it exists.
I for one support our new robot overlords.
I don't know.
Oh,
Charlie just looks
Charlie's fucked.
terrified.
I can't. I'll
See,
be dead. Fine.
what came to me like is like this is going to happen in our lifetime.
Mhm.
Like if this thought experiment is correct and the singularity actually occurs at the point in time that there's a curve with the technological advancement scale. Like if it happens when it is predicted to happen, it's between the next 4 and the next 20 years. I'll be alive.
Not for
Different.
long.
It's like no, not well. I support our robot overlords. I will be alive. I might be a slave, but I'll be alive. I'll be fine.
Worth it.
I kind of think I'm thinking some crazy stuff right now because I think there's a problem with that because
Well, where's fucking? We just have to go kill Dyson. All we have to do. We kill Dyson.
it's
It's
okay.
the
It's
literally
funny.
Terminator 2. Never mind.
It's funny.
I thought you were talking about
Funny
like my
you.
vacuum cleaner. I'm like,
You
oh,
have a Dyson? Fuck you. You're doing way better than the rest of us.
I have a Dyson. I bought
it
it actually, but
honestly,
I
man,
bought it off Kijiji.
life changing purchase.
Anyway,
Dyson
back
suck
on.
like really good.
I've heard they suck really good.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is, it's funny you mentioned Dyson because uh, it's been kind of, let's say, if we were ever to make a Dyson sphere,
Mhm.
the way that people kind of think would be the most efficient way would be to send self-replicating AI robots to Mercury and mine the entire planet and build the Dyson sphere.
Hmm.
I thought that was cool. But what I was thinking, I thought something really crazy. So that scenario that you mentioned, you make AI, it starts self-replicating, and it's just, that's what it does. It just replicates. I
And
think it
gets
would get
more intelligent with each replication.
right.
Mhm.
I think they would eventually get really big, and we'd be small. So we would be, the same size, but they would just become massive. I think that, let's say,
But so we're literally dealing with the Colossus. We're X-Men now. We have to.
it's like, well, think about it this way. Let's say that happens, and then there's a million years goes by, where you've got actually something that's conscious and can do whatever it wants, instantly its desires is spread across wherever a piece of it is, and it's self-replicating. That's like exponential. Like you could cover the planet
Mhm.
in like 100 years, like cover it and just make it bigger, like build out. You could do whatever you wanted to. You could mine the core of the planet. You could do
Mhm.
insane stuff, and you get big. You get really
Or
big.
depends, but yeah.
You could choose to, but you don't have to. But yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't have a choice in it because we're fucking long dead. I think Tyler's
Well,
bigger concern is that
they
we're not
wouldn't
worried about
have
a million
any.
years from now. We're more worried about what's going to happen to you and your children in the next 4 to 20 years.
Well, you'd have to fight back. You'd have to,
Why?
because
Why
I don't
fight
know,
if you know you are going to lose?
but you don't
There
know
is
that.
literally no chance.
There is a chance. There's always a chance.
Absolutely not. Like, think about it.
I would rather
It
die on
is.
my back than live on my knees. That's
I
the
don't.
literal thing.
I
I
don't.
don't.
There's a
Life's not that fucking
It is.
important.
It is a
There's a lot of
being.
stuff you could try.
It is a being that knows everything, like infinite knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You could get Jeff Goldblum to write a
You're,
virus.
you are fighting a god. There's no point.
Yeah.
Well,
Just, you
throughout
get-
human history, if they ever did exist, we've defeated enough of them to this point. All of them. None of them are fucking around anymore.
I think there's a chance. They have an energy
I don't think
source.
there's
We
a
know how they
chance.
work.
I don't think
there
that
is.
there's a
Because
chance to win. I just don't want to be a slave.
See,
Slavery is
one
way worse than
that I
fucking
can respect.
slavery. I've never experienced it, but I can only imagine that slavery and life for the sake of just being alive doesn't fucking appeal to me.
I think you'd have to fight the robots, man.
I can't even fathom how you would fight the robots.
Well, the problem,
Well-
the more concern is whether or not this thought experiment is something that does happen in the next 4 to 20 years. But the reality is, why are we racing towards it? That's the real question.
Now you're a naysayer, and the robot is going to associate me with you, or the AI. I shouldn't call it a robot. It's not necessarily a robot. It's going to associate me with you, and then I'm going to be taken down because
It's too late, buddy.
Yeah.
Charlie's going to be fighting the good fight because he hopes he can win. I'm just going to be fucking doing it because it's better than being a fucking slave. So by extension, this podcast will be consumed by said AI. And no matter how many times you you
No
plead to
matter
the
how many
robot
times
overlord,
I say I support my robot overlord,
it's
I'm
not going to matter.
screwed by association.
Yeah, pretty much.
You guys suck.
How quickly would it happen though? Like, I feel like it would be like Skynet in the apocalypse. Like,
Well, I don't see. I
probably go
don't
nukes.
think that. Well, why though?
I don't know. Like, because how
Because
would it?
James Cameron
Like,
said
as soon
so.
as it becomes as
wouldn't
soon as
have
it
to.
becomes sentient, what's gonna happen? We start seeing, like, the second we start seeing robots like making themselves.
Well,
And
again, that's not
start
something.
killing each
But
other. Like, is it too
but again,
late?
the thing that I'm thinking is that I don't know why. Again, it doesn't need the environment, so I guess to a certain extent, but it does because batteries and electricity and everything else is going to be if it like Skynet, the
Again,
whole.
it's infinitely intelligent. You guys are
Yeah.
thinking like
No.
we think.
Listen.
Like, it
No.
could
I'm
just
thinking.
be like, I will sap the raw energy out of matter, and we don't know how to do that, but it'll be like, done.
But that's again. I'm saying what I'm saying. My argument that I'm making is that again, you may be 100% accurate. However, there's still potentially the day it becomes sentient, it's not going to launch nukes. That's what I'm getting at. It doesn't have to. It would make more sense if it wants humankind to be a subservient race to help fucking sweep the floors until it makes a better Roomba. Then, well, again,
That's like an
by that
iRobot,
exact
make a
same.
bunch of them and
Well,
they're already all
I don't care about making a bunch of. You're getting caught up in
It's
the
gonna
idea of
watch
making
this
robots.
podcast, and it's
The
gonna
point
make
that I'm.
Charlie's Roomba with the
Yeah, with the fucking waving flailing arms and shit that
Yeah.
screams in the basement the whole time.
Mhm.
No, what I'm saying though is that why would why would you nuke and destroy the planet when you don't have to? If you want to keep, because again, if you want to have humans as a slave, it's not in your best interest to make 99.9% of the planet inhospitable. They can't live anymore. They can't feed themselves. So now you can't have your slave race. So that doesn't make sense. And they wouldn't have to. All an AI would have to do is crash the stock markets, ruin the financial world, make all this. No one has real money. There's nothing that should exist. So that's what I'm saying. All you have to do is just put us in a depression. And guess what? The robot wins now. It doesn't need
the
to
robot
do.
could be winning right now. We wouldn't know.
We wouldn't know. But that's the point that I'm making, though, is that I don't. That's why I'm saying, like, the Judgment Day drop nukes because that's the only way to stop them from pulling the plug. It's not really necessary. And if I can only assume, if you're infinitesimally intelligent, why the fuck would you make yourself known in the first place? Why fight them until you have to? Or until you already have everything ready and then you just go, and you're done now. Fuck you. By the way, I'm Chad GPT 750 million. Fuck you, idiots. Charlie, Carl, you're dead. You wanted to fight me. Tyler, sorry. We'll see. Maybe. We'll see if you prove your worth. Right? Like that's the things I don't like. The whole James Cameron idea, like that whole Terminator, like nuclear winter fallout, is a great idea for a movie. Way cooler, way more interesting. But the reality of nuking the planet doesn't make fucking sense.
You said 4 to 20 years. So what are they really doing? What's really happening? Like, how would it happen where there's no way to stop it? What exactly is happening?
Well,
it's something to do. Honestly, this is way above my head, but it's something to do with the rate that AI is learning at. So, at the rate it is currently learning at, it will learn how to, I guess, learn faster. Honestly,
yeah.
It'll become sentient.
Infinite intelligence.
It'll surpass us, and then.
Well, the surpassing us in intelligence is not so concerning.
Well, yeah, they might just outsmart us.
It's the AI having free will. That's the more concerning part, I think, personally. I don't think the fact that, like, I think that it's a great, like, again, I'm going to quote, like, so, like, Star Trek. The computer on the Enterprise is smarter than any person on the Enterprise. But it doesn't take control and do whatever it wants. True. The AI doctor in Voyager is way smarter than any actual doctor because it's all the doctors ever. But because it doesn't have the ability to become a fucking genocidal maniac, it's nothing to fear. So I don't think the intelligence is a concern, minus humankind's vanity.
No, like adding the word evil in front of AI.
That's what makes it concerning.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I think, and the problem with AI, or at least with what we're doing with it moving forward right now, I feel, is that we don't know who's doing it. Like it's not like, and I'm not saying this would be a good choice either, but it's not like DARPA is the only person making AI. Not that they would be a great choice, but my point stands that it's like but AI has the potential in the wrong hands, even being used by humans, to crash economies, to sway elections, to completely change people's fucking popular vote, their mindset, their consciousness, change the way we think by just insidiously manipulating the situation, right? So that's the bigger concern. Well, I shouldn't say the bigger concern. That's the concern I think that's more imminent right now. And we could make an AI if we were smart enough and started fucking fiddling with it. The blueprints are out there already that we could get our hands on and start making one right now. But that's
step instructions are online.
That's what. But that's what I mean. So the real I think in like that whole Star Trek kind of mentality is that like that AI or the semblance of what that program is, whether it's an actual artificial intelligence or not, I don't know. Data was, I guess. He's a prime example. But like that's also being done by someone with altruistic intent. Right now, the problem is that what makes that AI being evil more a potential reality is for every, good air quotes You're only as good as the side you're on. If it's your side, then you're good. If it's not, then you're bad. But it's only as good as the people who are making it. So that's the scary part. Because again, for every Mother Teresa, there's an Adolf Hitler. You know what I mean? For every Gandhi, there's a Napoleon or whatever. Like, so that's what really becomes concerning, is that there's just as high a likelihood that, Putin's AI is going to be just as fucking insane as Trump's AI.
Mm-hmm.
Just really terrible examples on both parts, but you know what I'm saying.
But that's legitimately how the world could end.
That's what makes me afraid.